Hey everybody, this is video 2 of our lesson on value. The first one we did our sphere, so keep that handy. The next one we're going to do is our cube. Our cube and our sphere are a little different in drawing. The first one we did, here we go. Our first one, our sphere, all we did was draw a circle and then the value kind of made it into the sphere. Now we need to draw the cube, which the value sections are a little easier because you don't really have to blend them, but you do have to draw it differently than just drawing a square. So bear with me for just a second while I get my thing ready again. Here we go. So I have already got my dots here for our sphere, which I'll explain in just a second. So most of you guys know how to draw a regular cube, and it's basically just the trick of drawing a square, and then connecting the sides. Ta-da! There is your cube. But we are going to be doing it in a point perspective way. So you will need a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can use a straight edge as far as the edge of your paper, another pencil if you have another pencil to do, or even your finger helps. Okay, so any kind of straight edge that it can help you with. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line. It doesn't have to be too big, maybe like about your finger or 2 inches. And then, actually, let me see here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so we have our dots. Your dots kind of go on the other side of each of the line. And then you're going to connect it to it. You're going to connect the top and the bottom, okay, to your dot back here. And this is called point perspective. Oops, my spirals are getting in the way a little bit. Okay, so this is called point perspective, where you have this and it's going to go back into space. Okay. So that's what that should look like now. Now we're going to cut off the edges of your cube. Okay? So you can erase all of that stuff. So those are your edges. Okay? And again, if your lines aren't completely straight, that's okay, because we're just practicing. We're going to be focusing, oops, sorry, my thing fell over. We're going to be focusing on the value instead of your straightness of lines. So now, then what you do to get the top there is you're going to take this and go to the other side. Take this and go to this side. Okay, and there we go. So now we have it where you can erase, we have the top, and you can erase these lines that go back into space. Okay, there we go. And so there's our cube. Okay, so now remember, the first thing you need to focus on is your light source. Okay, where is your light source? For this, it's going to be up in the corner here, and it's coming down. Okay, so we have our light source, and then we're going to focus on the value scale. So on our sphere, remember we said we were doing 1 through 4. So remember 1 is our white, which is the color of your paper. Okay, and number 2, 3, and 4. 2 is your light. And actually on the cube, we don't really have light. We have dark and medium. Okay, so we're not really using the lights because your white is right up here. So then here is our medium. And remember, I'm trying to get these done fast, so mine aren't as neat as yours should be. You know, when you color this in, it needs to be nice and filled in, just like we do in class. We practice craftsmanship. Okay, so here is my dark. Actually, my medium looks a little dark. So let me see if I can make my dark a little darker. Here we go. So now, all you're doing now, see, we talked about how the sphere, it took forever to make it into the sphere with our shading and this and that. Now, all it is you're doing its sections. Okay, so on this, the drawing was a little bit more difficult, but the shading is easier. On the sphere, the shape, drawing the shape was easiest, but the value was a little harder. So now we switch places with it. So on this, we do need to remember that this is the lightest. Here is our medium. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, again, nice craftsmanship. Okay, fill it in, no white streaks. Okay, so you're gonna fill it all the way in. And last time on our sphere, we talked about how you needed to shade it in a circular pattern like this. Now you can do up and down because it is a square. So you can do the straight lines, but remember, you don't want to just color like this, right? You want to color in a way that it almost kind of camouflages your brush strokes, so it doesn't look like it's colored in, right? Okay, so there's our medium. And now we have our dark. And so remember, when you're doing dark, don't kill your paper. This is the hardest I can do without really making holes in my paper. Okay, and actually looking at it now, this is a little dark. So I might want to go back when it's all said and done and kind of lighten that up a little bit. Remember, art is all about editing yourself, going back and making changes, and that's all about trial and error, right? Okay, so here is, remember, you don't want to make it so dark that your paper is ripped or creased really, really bad. Push down as hard as you can before your paper rips. And that's your dark, okay? So now that I look at this, my medium is a little too dark, so I need to lighten this up some. So all I'm doing is taking my eraser and kind of lighten it up a little bit. Now, I erased some of my good lines, so I need to kind of touch it up a little bit. Okay. And actually, I'm going to shade it just a little bit. And I'm going to do it really, really light. Okay, so there we go. So now you have your dark and your light and your white. So now all we have to do next is your shadow. Now remember, with your sphere, it was an oval. Now it's basically just another panel almost. So your light is hitting this. And so you're kind of just making a shadow box. It kind of goes along the top line there. Okay. And then goes like this. Okay, so if your shadow doesn't look very good, or even your cube, remember, we're not worried about that. We're worried about just practicing your value, practicing your drilling skills. So again, this needs to be your dark, and you're kind of gradually going to a little bit medium. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be pitch black shadow. Okay. And again, I want you to make sure that you're doing a little bit better job than I am in filling this in. Taking your time. Okay. And so see, this is one reason why we don't want it to be pitch black, you know, black, 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 is because we want to see that edge. Okay. So we kind of want to make it a little bit lighter, but if you don't, it's okay too. Okay. And so there is your cube. And that should be done. Next video, hopefully I'm going to try to do maybe a couple a week and see if we can do some other fun activities. So from me and Scarlett, there she is. She's very tired of me sitting and talking to myself and talking to my camera. So you guys have a great time drawing. Practice, practice, practice. If you have any questions or need any extra help, please don't hesitate to message me. So guys, have a great time off and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.